Hello and welcome to another edition of Issues with Jide. Here we talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Sheeta. Today on the show, Labour Party, APC in verbal war over planned Labour Party's threat to embark on nationwide protest. And later on the show, Emefiele jittery as the NLC plans to storm CBN offices nationwide over Naira scarcity. In the course of the program, we take your questions, but first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. I have joining me via Zoom the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. It's good to see you again, BKO, after the rigorous 2023 elections.
Yes, it was tough. Being on air sometimes for 7 straight hours, we really had to give it our best.
Absolutely. So let's get into the issue for today. The Labour Party has been in a verbal war with the ruling party, the APC, over planned protest. The party's chairman also threatened to call for a nationwide protest against, against what he described as electoral fraud perpetrated against them, both during the 2023 elections, both the presidential and the governorship elections. What's your reading of this constant post-election bickering, Bikeo?
Well, I think what's going on is dangerous for our country. I think that the 3 most dominant parties have to exercise caution. Yes, opposition, a virile opposition in a democracy is something really desirable. It's something that we want to see. In the past, I challenged the PDP for not providing sufficient challenge to the APC by way of pushing the party in power, holding the party in power to give its best, to be on its toes at all times. That is the job of a virile and responsible opposition. But everything has limits. If you already elected to take your case before the tribunal, before the Court of Appeal, then you should be patient and wait for his decision. You've got to be patient. You can't be before the tribunal pursuing your matter and at the same time be using other means like planning a nationwide protest. To what end? A nationwide protest will not overturn the decision, will not overturn the victory that someone has already claimed. A nationwide protest will not get the INEC to recant and say, oh, sorry, it wasn't Bola Ahmed Tinubu that won the election, it was Atiku Abubakar that won it, or it was Peter Obi who actually came third that won it. That is not going to happen. So it makes sense to allow the courts to do its job, allow the judiciary to do its job. Some of what we are seeing are clearly eating up the politics. We saw, how unpredictable this kind of protest can be. In this country, when Nigerian youths got up to say enough was enough over the NSAS, over the killings by SARS, the police unit, the police anti-robbery squad. Here in Lagos, people joined the protest. I supported the protest from beginning to the end. And I still have no regret. I always say that every opportunity that I have no regret supporting the protest. The only thing that I felt bad about was the fact that some people hijacked the protest and made it look like something that shouldn't have happened. A protest against a police that does not value human lives, a police that continues to kill young men and women for no reason. It was a desirable protest. It's the sort of protest that I would be happy to join. But what did we see? The moment that protest was politicized, then the protesters were being attacked. In Abuja, some of them were stabbed. People's vehicles parked at a big parking lot in Abuja were set ablaze by layabout, by urchins who clearly were paid by politicians who sought to uh, ethnicize and politicize the NSAS protest. There is no guarantee that this sort of protest that the national chairman of Labour says that they may have to do, if it goes beyond southern Nigeria, then we are playing with bloodshed. I know Nigeria to a large extent. I've lived in both the north and the south, and there's no state in our country that I have not visited at least twice. So I understand how our people think and how easy it is to suddenly hijack this kind of protest and give it a bad name. Before you know it, it will become a battle between North and South, Yorubas, and the rest of the country, and we'll have bloodshed on our hands. So before these people think of coming up, of implementing an idea, they have to think through it sufficiently. It shouldn't you shouldn't just come up with an idea and then think that okay, let's do it. You have to think through it. It's not about you alone, it's about our country. Some people will get up and see this protest as a battle to defend Nigeria. They will see it as Nigeria against the rest of them, or the Yorubas against the rest of them, or the North against some parts of the South. They will give you all kinds of coloration. So politicians need to use their brains. They should not set our country ablaze. I was very angry to see people legitimately protesting against police brutality in Abuja, being stabbed, their vehicles being attacked, and ultimately, the aim of the protest in Abuja was eventually defeated. And that protest that naturally should have even spread across our country, we saw that it could not go beyond the South and one or two communities in the North. Because clearly some people made it look like it was an attempt to take over power. Whereas in the beginning, the young people who came up to legitimate fight against police brutality were not thinking about taking over power from President Buhari. The constitution is clear about how our power can change hands in our country. But the whole narration was turned upside down by people who sought to benefit politically from the whole problem. So I see that happening again this time. And then some of the comments being made on TV are extremely dangerous. Why would anyone go on TV and be threatening judges that if they love their lives, they should not get involved in inauguration? I've never seen anything like this. And it's dangerous. On WhatsApp chat room, in a WhatsApp chat room, some people were threatening to even bomb the venue of the inauguration. I mean, it shouldn't get this bad. Unfortunately, like Delegiwa said, in all wars, those who die are those who do not deserve to die. Some of the people beating the drums of war now, they won't show up when this whole protest starts.
Absolutely.
They are not going to stand in the front. These hypocrites will only allow children of the poor to die.
Correct.
They will sit in their homes or even flee Nigeria. So it's absolute rubbish for people to allow themselves to be used by politicians who are so self-serving. And I've said it that Nigerians do not deserve to waste their lives because of our irresponsible politicians. I mean, why would you want to put your own life at risk because of a politician?
Doesn't even make sense.
If the elections were rigged, the courts are there for you to seek redress, not to invite Nigerians to take to the streets and potentially cause conflagration in our country. We don't want to see that. And all the terrible rhetoric going on as if people who have lost elections are insurrectionists, they have to stop. So those comments we should not be hearing people make such comments in a manner that suggests that they are waging a war against their country. And the ambition of an individual cannot be more important than the well-being, peace, and stability of our country.
Absolutely.
That message has to sink in.
Absolutely, Biko. Just like Festus Keyamo and members of the APC have petitioned the DSS to rein in Obi and Baba Ahmed for incendiary comments, especially Baba Ahmed, who unilaterally declared the president-elect as unconstitutional and threatened mayhem if Tinubu is sworn in on May the 29th, 2023. How did we get here, Biko?
I think Baba Ahmed has suddenly become extremely delusional and extremely desperate. Here is a man who sought to get into the Senate through the ballot box. But the courts took the Senate seat from him because he did not deserve to win in the first place. And now he thinks that the vice presidency is his birthright. I used to see this man as urbane, as very responsible, as peace-loving, as a pride of our country. But this election has now brought him to the level of the ordinary politician. The ordinary politician with little education. That's the level to which this whole electoral season has brought him. I look at him now and I ask myself, is this the same man? We never knew him for this kind of incendiary comments. There are some people in our country that if they made the kind of comments that Baba Ahmed is making these days, people won't bother because people who are already used to that. But for a man who looked like somebody who could not hurt a fly, to be making the kind of comments that Baba Ahmed is making is extremely shameful. And I'm surprised. I'm surprised that he let himself sink to this level. It's just an election after all. And you can't claim to love our country more than the rest of us. I mean, what are we talking about? Trying to rile up people, trying to push our young people to violence. And when that violence happens, you won't be anywhere to be found. You probably will be hiding under your bed. I mean, this is wrong. I can't imagine that Baba Ahmed could sink to this odious level. Honestly, I'm ashamed. at some of the comments that he's making. These are treasonable. The same man who accused El-Rufai of treason because El-Rufai chose to obey the Supreme Court over the president, is the one making statements that are more than treasonable. So between him and El-Rufai now, who is potentially guilty of treason? A governor chose to obey the judgment of, the order of the Supreme Court. You now said, you equated that with treason. By what level of education will a person think like this?
Let me take one or two comments before we go to the...
These people should not set our country ablaze because they've got the money to go and live the rest of their lives abroad. The rest of us have no other place to run to.
Right.
We don't have money, but we believe in our country.
Right, let me take this comment. Emmanuel Osi says, when there is injustice, what did you expect? INEC evaluated his own law, valued his own law, and you violated, that's what it meant to write, his own law, and you want the election to stand. This is one of the comments that supporting, as Sami S said, okay, Fabian Akeze says, Dati Ahmed's actions are proof that he never had any good plans for Nigeria. This is just a man showing his true color. Elections is not a do-or-die affair. He contested and lost. Enough of this. And I want you to react to this, BKO. There is a comment here saying, Jide, we know what this program is for when you created it last year. Underline when you created it last year. I said it that this is for APC politics. I'm not surprised what I always heard from you here. I would like you to react to that.
Okay.
You said the program was created last year.
When you disagree with today's young people, there's nothing that they will not say. I've seen people accuse me of bigotry, that I don't like the Igbos, but on this program, so many times we were pushing for Nnamdi Kanu to be released. I've not seen any Nigerian journalist on TV who has campaigned for Nnamdi Kanu to be released and for dialogue to prevail more than me. I challenge anyone to point at any Nigerian journalist who has pushed so hard for Nnamdi Kanu to be released the way that I have done. No one. And I know the battles that I fought. People will say, oh, Jide, why are you supporting Nnamdi Kanu? He's a terrorist and all that. But the law is the law. If the law says free him, why don't you free him? This is what I've always fought for. The program was not set up for me to agree with obedience at all times. There are times when we will disagree. When this same program, we have highlighted Obi's progress as a politician, Obi's positive stories, more than any presidential candidate. The facts are there. They are all on YouTube. Every time that Obi did well in the opinion polls, we debated it. And I've always said, look, many young Nigerians think that, yes, politicians are bad, but this one is more decent than the rest of them. I've always said that, and I will repeat it, that is the view of most people. That, yes, our politicians are dirty, but Obi is not like the rest of them. And this is the reason young people who are not happy with the way our country is being run want Obi. But the truth is, Obi lost the election. And I predicted 2 weeks before the election that he will be defeated in the election. It is there again. Go and check that episode on YouTube. I said he will not be elected. This is a fact. The same way that I predicted that Alex Oti will be elected governor of Abia State. No sentiment. We can't agree on everything. God did not create us the same way. My own argument is that the presidential election that people are saying is the worst election ever. I disagree. I have not said that it was a perfect election or that there were no irregularities. It would be stupid of me to say that. But I disagree with people trying to make it look like the worst election in our history. And I've seen many elections in our country. So I can tell you that it is not the worst. No one created by God will be able to convince me that the presidential election is the worst in our history. You can keep that notion. For me, you will not be able to convince me. And when I believe in something, it's a waste of time trying to see if you can convince me or bully me. I can't be bullied. So this is where we are. This is not an APC program. I have criticized APC on this program more than anything. One of our famous Facebookers, Abbas Adetunji, he saw where I analyzed President Buhari's New Year message. And he said, yes, Jide is truly a very objective journalist because I took the president to the cleaners. And I have no shame about that. You can call me whatever you want to call me now because we do not agree on the presidential election, but you can't take away the work that I've done. And what I've done is on record. People can go back and watch the things that I've said. I do not believe in the PDP. I do not believe in the APC. I have friends in those different parties. I have an obligation to be fair to everyone. They say, Jide did not condemn the beating of people on election day in Lagos. I have condemned it 4 times now. 4 times. 3 times. 2 times on Journalist Hangout. 1 time on this program. 1 time on Your View. People are just being unreasonable. And we don't have to agree on everything. So this is the thing. My argument is logical. If you are saying the elections were rigged, how come the biggest states were lost by APC? Just the same way that the former INEC chairman said, if they wanted to rig election, they will not be targeting small states. They will target the big states where you have the votes. They lost Kano, they lost Kaduna, they lost Katsina, they lost Lagos. I mean, if you want to rig election, you will not make up your mind to lose the biggest states. It makes no sense. No one is saying the election is perfect, but they should stop saying it's the worst in our history because they think that is the way to achieve. Our people are too biased. When we were criticizing Emefiele, a lot of them were backing him because they thought that by backing Emefiele, somebody else will win the election. Now we are all suffering. Somebody was begging me for 2,000 today. I couldn't give him. Are we not all suffering now? We are all suffering. Right. The truth is the truth.
Absolutely. Yeah, there are lots of comments here, and people are actually going at their throats. And I think we would like to warn that those that are making invectives on our YouTube comments channel, comment field, that's not the proper thing to do. You have to just state your opinion and ask your questions, if any, but do not force anyone to, believe or accept what it is that you're putting forth. If you have lost, accept that it's a game that you've lost. And if you've won, everyone has to be magnanimous in victory. BK, we need to move on and talk about
let me look at what happened in Kano in 2019. Kwankwaso lost the election. He was convinced that he was rigged out because he was ahead before a rerun was forced. A rerun was forced on him. He accepted his fate. He knew that 4 years is not too far. Today, Kwankwaso is more popular than he was 4 years ago. 4 years ago, Kwankwaso could barely win outside of Kano Metropolis. In fact, Kwankwaso lost his local government, Madobi, to Governor Ganduje that time. Today, in the senatorial zone where Governor Ganduje comes from, his son contested election, he lost to Kwankwaso's candidate. Gaya is not in Kano Metropolis, it's in the hinterland. The chairman of Senate Committee on INEC was defeated in Gaya by Kwankwaso's candidate. Kwankwaso is far more popular now in Kano than 2018. He was patient. He knew that another opportunity will come where I will show everyone just how popular he is. That's the way politics should be. Kwankwaso never called for violence. He never beat up anybody. He was just looking at them. Okay, let us see what will happen in 4 years. Now 4 years is here, and Kwankwaso has shown his preeminence in Kano politics. No one can light a candle to Kwankwaso in today's Kano. And it's going to spread from Kano to other parts of the north. He's going to replace President Buhari as the most dominant politician from northern Nigeria. That is my prediction. We all will see it. So that's the way it is. There's no reason to call for violence. Some people, if they have their ways, they will beat us up. They will have their way. But politics should not be about violence. When the riot starts, some of the people tweeting and writing all of this, you won't even see them. You won't see them. So the truth is the truth. No one should seek to bully any other person.
Absolutely. Just like
hold on to your opinion. Let other people hold on to theirs. You cannot convince me. If it was easy to convince me, after 3 weeks, I won't be saying the same thing.
Absolutely.
This is the way I am. This is my nature.
Absolutely.
You can't convince me. You can't make me change.
Just like the way...
You can abuse me.
Right, you're correct.
You can abuse me all you want. It doesn't change anything.
Yeah. Nelson, it
doesn't change anything. Oh, it does.
Absolutely.
They said I don't criticize Tinubu. It has never criticized Tinubu. Who told you I have not criticized him? When Tinubu went to Abeokuta to say those things about the president, I went on air and I criticized him. Go and check that episode. Right. When Tinubu was reluctant to support Amotekun, I went on air. I criticized him. 2 days later, he came up supporting Amotekun. So who told them that I do not even criticize the man? Who told them?
You know, it's funny the way we Nigerians, reason sometimes. It's exactly the way Nelson Adufe says here, that stop abusing BKO, air your opinion, and make sense. Let's see. But then I want to quickly address a comment here, which is saying that they have a list of, let's say TV stations that they were going to attack or something. We would like to state categorically that this platform is not meant for you to issue threats or inflammatory comments. We want you to stop that. If you have anything bad in mind that you want to do not use this platform to air your opinion so that you won't be banned at the end of the day. Because we need to forge ahead. In order to forestall the planned picketing of the Central Bank of Nigeria, the branches nationwide by the NLC, Mr. Emefiele is now panicky and is making a face-saving move to placate the organized labor, and has now directed banks to open on Saturday and Sunday and load their ATMs for customers. How do you react to this, BK?
I'm indifferent because I know that very little will be achieved. The banks in my area, they opened, but they didn't have money to give people. They didn't have money to give people. So
the essence.
What is the point in telling them to come to work? One told me that they used to bring cash for them, 100 million, minimum of 100 million for them to pay the people making withdrawals and all that. But that for 1 whole week, they did not bring 1 naira, 1 naira to them. In fact, she told me that since this fasting began, she just goes to the bank to sleep. No money to pay to people. I don't know our offense that Emefiele chose to treat us in this manner. And we had journalists, members of the third estate of the REC, claiming that they were standing by Emefiele. They have no shame. Today, does he look like someone that you can stand by? a certified failure. Look at what he has turned our economy to. Our economy has lost 20 trillion in the last few weeks. Bank buildings have been set ablaze because he lied against them that he gave them money, but they refused to share. But we know better now. He's trying to stop the NLC from carrying out the threats. He believes that once the NLC sees that they are taking steps, that they are going to do something. But the truth is, they are still not giving banks enough money. Banks are still paying people 5,000, 2,000. So the problem will not hiss. And the best thing is for NLC to carry out its threat. I support the NLC wholeheartedly because these people have left us to suffer for too long. So NLC is encouraged to go ahead, picket the offices of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Apologies to GTA. So picket their offices. If that will straighten them up, then so be it.
Right, Bike. So I thought the CBN governor said he has destroyed the old notes. I'm wondering where he's going to call, recall them from.
He didn't say so. He didn't say so. That is during the negotiation for out-of-court settlement. One of the people from the government side claimed that those notes had been destroyed.
Yeah.
But El-Rufai told them that, look, we have evidence that the notes have not been destroyed. But the CBN never opened its mouth to say they destroyed money. And we have to be careful because it will be well within its rights to take anyone who says that to court, because you never had him say that. And the papers didn't report hearing that from the CBN governor. So it was just said to be one of the claims made during negotiation for out-of-court settlement. And of course, that negotiation failed, pushing the governors to attempt to file contempt charge against the Attorney General, CBN.
Right. Thanks for clearing that particular opinion. So how would you now describe the CBN policy and this cashless policy? How far has it taken us, apart from the fact that it has imposed hardship on Nigerians? Have there been any gains, to this effect?
Can
you hear me, BKO?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Right.
The policy has not achieved anything meaningful. It has no economic value. It has merely plunged our economy into crisis. Germany, as I said on Journalist Angle yesterday, is the most advanced, technologically advanced country in Europe. Yet, it is not yet a cashless society. There's no such thing as a cashless society. Even abroad, small businesses are transacted in cash. It is the high volume transactions that they do electronically. But such people have not even got the money to pay for when they transfer money and all that, all those charges, they've not got the money to pay for those charges. So they are excused. There's no such thing as a cashless society.
Let me take one or two comments here. Emmanuel Olufade Olugbenga says the cashless policy ended being cash confiscation, affecting all the I stand with Emi folk. Okay, so there are too many invectives here, BKO, today. I don't know. People are just, ranting, throwing insults and all of that. And someone asked a question, is it compulsory for Obi and Dati to win the presidency? I don't know whether you want to react to that, because we just need to move on. The case has been taken to
I don't
court.
need, we have to move. Yes, we have become such an intolerant people. We cannot tolerate contrary opinion, and we live in a democracy. I don't know what has come over us. If you disagree with people, some of them will block you. They will threaten your children. They will threaten your wife. They say they want to burn a TV station. Is that not stupidity to wake up and say you want to burn a TV station?
Right.
What if you don't come back alive?
Right.
You know? So what are we talking about? You go to Arise TV, one of the guests said that he was surprised that he saw many soldiers there. Why won't they put soldiers there when people can be threatened that they will burn TV stations? Huh? So the TV stations are your oppressors. You can't fight your oppressors. It's the TV stations that you want to fight. So I don't understand what the problem is with our people.
Honestly.
People should be free to disagree with their friends. In the US, it just shows how backward and thinking we are. In the US, you find a man who is Republican, the wife is Democrat, and they don't slap each other over that. They crack jokes, they exchange banter over it. That's the way it should be. Peter Obi did well in this election, but he couldn't have won. He couldn't have won. And I knew he would not win. It's on record that I predicted he would not win. I had my reasons for saying that.
Right.
Because he didn't win a single state dominated by Muslims. There's no way you can be elected like that. If you do not have the spread, 25% in 24 states, he didn't even come close to getting it. So how can you, what is your route to the presidency?
Right. So
this one will be to the abuse people. That one, we abusing people. Where that one take us go now?
If it take us go anywhere. On a final note, Bikil, do you see Nigerians, maybe after inauguration, when governance begin, do you see Nigerians coming back together? It looks like we've been divided, fragmented along ethnic, tribal, and much more sentiments line.
Oh, it happened during Jonathan's regime too. This same Atiku, there was nothing that when he lost the primaries of the PDP, there was nothing he didn't say. Threatening to make government ungovernable, making the country ungovernable and all that. But Nigeria always survives its enemies. People who want violence to take place in our country, bloodshed and all that, Nigeria always outlasts them. And I believe that Nigeria will outlast the enemies, its enemies, even in this case. And once a new government comes in and that new government begins to solve problems, people will forget the nasty bickerings and feral comments that we are getting at this time. The government needs to sit down and begin to solve problems. Once those problems are being solved, because we abandoned our young people for so long, so they have a reason to be angry. Some of them are abusing me now. The same people used to praise me. They are angry. They can't stand anything that goes against their desires. But life is not like that, and life is not a bed of roses. You can't always have your way. That's why I gave the example of Kwankwaso. Today, Kwankwaso is happy. The supporters are happy because they waited for 4 years and God delivered into their hands what was taken away from them 4 years ago. Now, who knows? Maybe another time, Peter Obi will win. How many people contest for the presidency the first time and win? Doesn't always happen now.
All right.
If God wills that he will be president of this country one day, he will still be president of this country.
Absolutely. Ugo Igidiogu says, I've just unsubscribed. This is not as objective as I expected. This is not the you I also know. Nah, thank you. Yeah. But then, we know that we are even having more 1.3 thousand views, and that's the way it grows every day. But we are here for you, and we'll definitely welcome you anytime you want to come back.
Good luck to him. Good luck to him. There are people who tell me they've stopped watching Journalist Hangout, but Journalist Hangout has never been as popular as it is now. And our programs, they say I will stop watching TVC. TVC recorded in 5 days 9.3 million YouTube views. I mean, if people are not watching us, how can that happen? In just 5 days, 9.3 million YouTube views. And in TVC, Journalist Hangout records the highest YouTube views. That's the program they told us they've stopped watching. So it's either immediately you stop watching, others start watching, or you are not telling us the whole truth. Because whatever I say, somehow people will still come out to say, oh, he said this. How did you get to know when you stop watching?
Interesting.
How come you are able to report accurately what I said?
Interesting.
Huh? We are all Nigerians.
Right.
We are all Nigerians. Let's maintain the peace. Let's not hate one another because of political differences. It is rubbish. It's rubbish. Let's not behave the way Nkata Buthelezi and Mandela's ANC were behaving to one another in the 90s. What are we going to gain in that?
Well, that's our show for today's edition of Issues with Jide. Special thanks to you, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, for those insightful analyses, as always.
Thank you, Ibrahim. It is what it is. Very truculent show. But you have to say the truth, and the truth never loses.
It is what it is. And thanks to you, to our audience, for joining us on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button again to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG, and also I'm at Ibrahim_Shita. Yeah, my dad was a teacher. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.